built from a genuine friendship. I think I spoke about this on some other interview that we did. I took a screenshot of a phone call Murs and I did that was 3 hours long. And this was this was having nothing to do with an album rollout or nothing to do with marketing, marketing plans. This was just about life. Anytime you're friends with another artist who you respect their craft to the fullest, to the utmost. The first time I met this man, I ran up to him as a fan. I was a middle school teacher from New Orleans, and I ran up to him as a fan at South by Southwest and just asked to take a picture. And I was a little nervous, and my partner was like, man, go do that. He seemed like he cool. So to go from there, from me always having respect for him as an artist, but to have that friendship, it just makes the chemistry something to where we don't worry about lanes and boxes that people put us in. We laugh at those things because we know that our chemistry as men and as friends is going to make the music dope, is going to make the experience fun, and the fans who are meant to receive it and be blessed by it, they will. And the ones who aren't, well, guess what? We're going to keep trying to reach them. So that's why I want to make the music as dope as possible. But the only people who aren't going to feel something that me and Murs do are the people who judge it before they listen to it because of the title or because I hate to bring race into it, but because it's two black men rapping together, and you got some people that would prefer Murs to rap with white people, just to be honest with you. And those type of things, it's like, it's okay. We all have our preferences and our bias that may exist. But when you actually just strip away all of those things and get to the music, I feel like we always gonna create something. We've toured together, we've done music together, we've done a movie together, and we ain't struck out yet. You hear me?
I will say this. Hold on, sorry, cut right.
You're good.
I did put him on. I talked to Chris Calico last night, who's on our album, who's also a Christian man who grew up in the church. A lot of people think things about Tech Nine and in the Strange Music family like they're not. But he's very, very, very a man of God. So it's good to have him on the album. And he said, "Who's the famous R&B or something? I wish I would have known the gospel singer." But he had never heard D1. He's like, "I probably would have never listened to D1 if you didn't get me on that feature." And he's dope. And he got a song with some big time, I don't know, Christian. He's like,
he's not with Jonathan McReynolds, right?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, he got a song with Jonathan McReynolds. Man, how did I not know? He's really dope. And it's just sometimes like he's kicking in the door for me and his side, and I'm kicking in the door for his side. People are like, oh, he could rap.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
I was a huge fan of Little Brother, and I stumbled across your joint projects that you did with Knife, Murders 316, like Dark Skin White Girl, one of my favorite songs. You know what I'm saying, that you ever did. That joint was real dope and real deep. One thing that always stood out about those projects were that they were both dope and profanity free. Though a lot of your catalog, of course, is more colorful. The question I had was it easier to get back into that way of writing while doing the record with D, or was it harder because of that? And the follow-up would be like, was it harder to talk about your faith in this record due to the fan base being unfamiliar with that side of you?
No, on both fronts. Me and Knife did a couple records with no curse words, and then no one noticed and no one cared. So it was like, okay, but I didn't stop it because it was difficult. And I write, like D1 tell you, I write really fast, so it was nothing to not curse in the song. It's hard for me not to curse when I'm freestyling or when I'm having a conversation, but when writing, I could turn it off and on. And it was where I'm at in my life. It was very easy to write from a spiritual fan base, spiritual place, and my fan base. The last album I did, The Strange Journey to Unimaginable, I started talking about God and I ended talking about God. So it was a natural progression. I just felt forward with Atmosphere, and that's kind of a left one. But as far as me, like what's going on in my life, it was a real natural progression. So it wasn't difficult at all. And like he said, I don't care what people think. You know what I mean? If It bothers me more when people who consider themselves to be Christians would not receive the message. I was more worried about that. Like, are they going to, give me a shot? But my people, if they listen, they don't. If they don't,
Yeah. So what's that like? Because obviously there's a certain audience that would listen to a record like this, and so maybe both of you guys could share a little bit about this. But who is it that you would hope to listen to it, or what was like? I mean, obviously this is fruit of your relationship, just you guys being friends, obviously. But that when you create a record like this, there's going to be certain people that listen to it. What would you hope comes from this record? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, just to be transparent, this is the first time I ever done a collab album. So my goal was for us to both bring our fan bases to the table. You heard me?
That's cool, yeah.
We both touring artists. I think there's a little bit of overlap with our fan bases, but for the most part, he is a heavy West Coast artist. Like people think West Coast, they think Murs. You think New Orleans, you think D1. I was looking forward to all that coming together. And I mean, we both have been like mainstays for at this point in just hip hop period. Like Murs says, I've been blessed enough to be on, to be exposed to both sides of what they would call hip hop, I guess, secular and faith based, as far as people being familiar with me. So that's cool, because I always sought to be a dude that, like, I'll be in the clubs, man, and I'm performing.
In the clubs, bro?
Huh?
What you doing in the clubs?
Bro, I'm in the clubs talking about God and rapping about, God by my side so no man can harm me. This is the story of a one-man army right before Juicy J. And I'm opening up right before Juicy J come out there and rap. And, that's in Orange County, California. Or I'm on tour with Young Dro, you know what I mean? Talking about Shoulder Lean and talking about, whatever Dro be talking about. Shout out to Dro. But I'm the same dude I am on this album with Murs. I'll be that same dude, but in those environments. And God didn't call everybody to be able to do that. But it's a reflection of how I grew up down here. Like, I grew up in a war zone. I grew up in the Goose. That's a part of the Ninth Ward, east side of New Orleans. And I've never partaken in those activities, but it was always all around me. So because of that, it just made it to where whatever I bring to the table, it's like the word we used before, gumbalaya. You know what I mean? Like my fan base feels like some gumbalaya, because it's some people that's super Christianed out. It's some people that's just like, yo, I'm just a person trying to figure it out, but I just know I need some positivity in my life. When I turn on that radio, you know what I'm saying? And D1 provides that. Turn on whatever you want, because when you get D1 on there, it's going to be the same thing every time. It's going to be a brother trying to be real, righteous, and relevant. So I wanted to bring these three. No. You disrespectful, bro. I ain't feeling that. All right. I see you. Anyway.
Good plug.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Hey, to answer y'all question, bro, like that was my goal, is for us to both bring whoever's rocking with us to the table. And to throw people off a little bit too, man, because I think people come to expect certain collab projects from artists. So it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I don't think people thought that this made sense, but what they are seeing is that it made amazing music. Even if it didn't make sense, it made amazing music. So,
but Luke, my goal was to I knew my fans weren't gonna mess with it at all because the word Christian in it, and because I'm rapping with another black person, they don't like that. But I don't say some of them don't like that. I hate to. There's a lot of them that do. Some of them don't. But my goal was to get some fans somewhere between Reconcile and Toby and Wigwe. I think that's where we fit.
Okay.
We're kind of lyrical, but we're kind of fun. Like D1 brings that energy, but he's still lyrical. I bring the traditional boom bap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those fans that are looking for somewhere in between that, because those are two, I don't know if they like to be called Christian rappers or faith-based rappers. I don't want to offend nobody. But for me, two Christian rappers that I admire and I listen to their stuff. You know what I mean? Along with D1. But I think we fit somewhere in there. And I know I look like propaganda, but I don't think it sounds like a prop record.
So for this project, you guys worked with a single producer, Curtis King. He provided a unique, soulful sound experience. So how did you guys kind of, with him, sort through that production and kind of pick and choose what you wanted?
I liked every beat. I liked every beat that dude sent, man. Every single beat he sent, I was like, bet, let's go. Like this wasn't a matter of him sending us 15 or 20 or 25 beats and us picking 10. This was every beat he played. It was like, all right, what we finna rap about to this? I love that zone of the soulful boom bap production style. I don't feel like I get enough of that. Me being from the South, you know, I feel like there's like a stereotype of what we're supposed to rap over. And when you think about performing, you're always thinking about up-tempo joints that knock, that you can come out and rock a show to. But with this, it was more or less like, what are songs that we can provide a dope story on top of? So every beat that boy played, I was just like, cue it up.
Yeah, we made a conscious effort because with D1 we could have went a lot of ways. And for me, like we know a lot of producers, but I wanted to give my fans a chance so they couldn't say it was too different. Because if it's Christian, if it's faith based and it's over something that sounds trappy or Southern, they're not going to be with it. But me and Curtis King have been messing with each other for a long time, and thanks to TrackLib, if you're a producer, check out TrackLib because we were able to use sample based and clear the samples and give the artists that we sampled their just due and equity in the project.
That's dope. That's cool.
We had tons of stuff to choose from. So everything Curtis did, he had a relationship with TrackLib. So all the samples were clear. And so my fans, I'm like, that's why I can challenge my fans. Like, what's wrong with it? You know what I mean? It's faith-based. You guys hate God that much where it's not that different. It's a boom bap album. Curtis King is an independent rap staple. He's a producer on a high level producer. Why don't y'all mess with it? And so I knew we went consciously into that. And thank God D continued to like the beats. And it was never, and for How Great was the one time I gave Curtis a sample because it's based on a song that my grandfather sings all the time in church. And I went and found a sample for How Great and I sent it to him. He freaked it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably my favorite track on the album actually.
Yeah.
Was that your grandfather that was singing?
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
right.
That's dope. That's
I knew
great.
It. Somebody grandpa, I knew it.
Yeah, fresh out of church. Me and D1 went to church with him that morning, and then he came to the studio and sang the song for us.
Yep.
92 years old.
Murs, so I've been listening to you, just like Cut Right, I've been listening to you for a while. I actually listened to your Felt albums, and so you just put out Felt, and so you drop these projects collabing with other artists like in back-to-back months. So obviously you like to collaborate with other artists. What's the most exciting part about that for you?
Learning. I like to try to learn from everyone. What I can learn from D, collaborating with Curtis King. He's a friend of mine. I love having, getting to work with him and spend time with him. Same thing with D. He's a friend. So spending time with my friend. I'm a workaholic, so I don't really I don't have friends unless we're working. So it gives me time to talk to, other people. If not, I'll just be in the house writing by myself.
Right.
So it's exciting to get a chance to learn, see how other MCs create, and take some work off the plate because I don't have to always come up with the hook. Or I can come up with hooks like something like Show Her on our album.
Yeah.
Baby Girl. Like he started doing, and I can help give him words, but I can't sing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not sultry and sexy and Southern, so I could throw him words like say this. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
like an iron sharpens iron thing.
Yeah.
So check it out, No Pictures of Jesus, bruh. First single from the project, first track on the album, y'all kicking the door, waving Psalm 44. You know what I mean? All over, killing, you know what I mean? All of the, you know what I mean? The mysticism and the myths and all that. It's such a powerful statement to kick off the rest of the project. Why was it important to you guys to address the white Jesus controversy out the door, and why y'all think it matters or why it doesn't matter so much?
Bro, it was so important to have to address this controversy about what color Jesus was, because that factor alone is preventing so many people from coming to Christ. And that is heartbreaking. It's also heartbreaking how in the year 2020, people are still trying to, use the narrative that Jesus was a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes as a form of putting their knee in colored folks' neck. You feel me?